Let me try to.
Welcome everyone. Today is Wednesday, the 21st of August, 2024, and this is the Cluster API Karpenter Feature Group meeting. We follow Kubernetes SIG's meeting guidelines, which basically means please treat everyone as you expect to be treated, and please raise your hand if you want to be called on. Although there's only two of us here, so this is probably going to be pretty easy. Marco is helping me out with the screen sharing today because we're still having screen sharing problems with Zoom. So, I only had a couple items on the agenda for today. I think we're getting very close to maybe not needing this feature group anymore. So basically, the first thing I wanted to cover was, I've created an issue to migrate the Carpenter repository from my personal GitHub account um, into the Kubernetes SIGs repo. And we had a discussion yesterday with SIG Cluster Lifecycle, and it seems like there's no objections to going forward with this, although we do want to wait for a couple of the chairs who were on PTO to kind of review what's happening there and everything and make sure there's no problems. So we did like a lazy consensus, and I think first week in September, we should end the lazy consensus, and if everything looks good, we'll migrate the repository over at that point. So I don't know. I don't know if you have any questions about that, or it's pretty straightforward, I guess.
Yes, a second.
So then the next thing, I wrote a blog post about kind of the design process and everything and what we did to get here. So I'm just kind of I've been sharing it with various parts of the community because I was listening to some people talk about that there was no material to learn how to build a Carpenter provider. And so I thought, well, I could at least document my experiences, and maybe that will help other people to do this as well. So a little something for the community to kind of check out if they're curious about it. Um, and then the last topic was basically what to do next after the migration. So I've got a bunch of issues and I want to add to the repo that gets put there. Just work that needs to be done and turn some of the to-do items into actual issues that people could help with. I think there's also some experimenting to be done with other designs, like what if we didn't use machine deployments? What if we just used machines? And what if we could make better use of things like EC2 Fleet or VMSS? So I think there's some room for experimenting to do as well. Also, at some point, we'll want to start drafting the enhancement for Cluster API to describe the integration, and I might start drafting that with what we have now, with the expectation that we could change it, as we go forward. But just to have some, because it might take us months to get the cap in place where we could, merge it. So like, I think getting it started sooner is probably better than waiting. And then the last thing is really like, should we keep the feature group going? I think like the last couple meetings we've had, the attendance has kind of gone down. So I'm thinking it might be a good time, especially since we're migrating the repo to kube SIGs. It might be a good time to say, okay, let's end the feature group. We kind of achieved what we wanted to, which was basically to figure out a design and a path forward. And so I think the cap will kind of be the end of that. So we don't necessarily need to continue having these meetings for like engineering discussion. Maybe at a later date we would start a project meeting for that. But I think we could probably end this meeting and not have to, then have one less meeting on our menu, right?
I have a question, Mike. Do you have
Yeah.
a Slack channel in the Kubernetes SIGs namespace for this group, or do you think that?
Uh, Wait, say that again.
Do have you created the Slack channel for in the Slack in the Kubernetes
Oh,
Slack
right.
namespace?
I have not, but that's a good suggestion.
Probably can follow up questions there. Or hear the community folks trying out and reading our blogs. So,
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea, and yeah, you're probably right. We should make a dedicated channel for that project, just in case people have questions or whatever. Like obviously they could come to the Karpenter channel or they could come to the Cluster API channel, but probably good if we just create a Slack channel of our own.
Cool, yeah. Because especially for me, I usually search for in the Kubernetes next namespace on Slack for some topics like that. So it's a very interesting topic, and probably the community will be interested in discussing more about that. Especially your blog. Your blog is very complete. So
Thank
cool.
you.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, no, that you're right. You're right though. Like people go exploring in the search menu and type in Carpenter and they see different channels. Like, yeah, it's a good way to be discovered and whatnot. So yeah, I'll definitely follow up on that and look into making a Slack channel for it. So yeah, so that was most of the topics I wanted to discuss. Is there any other questions or things you wanted to talk about?
No, we don't have today, Mike. Thanks.
Okay.
Amazing. I see your demo using CodeMark, right? So it's very cool seeing this project working and so on. So excited to see the next steps working in machine pools and using AWS and so on. So
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm excited too. I've talked to some users kind of, out of band, and people have already started experimenting with like VMware and using it on AWS. And so like I know there's a lot of work still to be done, but it's encouraging to hear people starting to experiment with it. And like I'm glad to see it's working the way we expect it to. So yeah, we'll see what happens next.
go, yeah. Big thanks and congrats for that achievement.
Like, well, yeah, it took a lot of help to get there, and like I'm thankful for the community and everything. We got a lot of great and smart people out there, and it's taken an effort to do it. So yeah, it's been good. All right, cool. Well, I guess if there's nothing else, we can take like 15 minutes of our day back, and yeah, I'll see you around then. All right, take care, Marco.
Yeah. Take care. Bye. Thank you.